Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel, where we dive into the most powerful stories ever told. Today, we're journeying back in time to the heart of ancient Babylon to uncover a breathtaking story of faith, courage, and miraculous survival. It's the tale of three young men who stood firm when the whole world was bowing down. This is the story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Imagine this. King Nebuchadnezzar, the most powerful ruler of his time, has just constructed a colossal golden statue standing 90 feet tall. He issues a decree to everyone in his vast kingdom, nobles, governors, officials, and citizens alike. The command is simple but absolute. When you hear the sound of the horn, flute, lyre, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship this golden image. And the penalty for disobedience, to be thrown into a blazing fiery furnace. The music begins to echo across the plains of Dura. A wave of humanity falls to its knees, their faces pressed to the ground in worship of the king's golden idol. A whole empire united in a single act of obedience. But amidst this sea of bowing figures, three men remain standing. Their names were Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, but we know them by their Babylonian names, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. They were young Hebrew men, taken from their homeland and now serving in the king's court. They were known for their wisdom and integrity, but their ultimate allegiance was not to King Nebuchadnezzar. It was to their God, the one true God, who had commanded them, "You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol." For them, bowing to this statue wasn't just a political formality. It was a betrayal of their deepest convictions. It didn't take long for their defiance to be noticed. Certain court officials, likely jealous of their positions, rushed to the king. "O king, live forever," they began. "You issued a decree that everyone should worship the golden statue. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, O king. They neither serve your gods nor worship the golden image you have set up." King Nebuchadnezzar was furious. He was a man accustomed to absolute obedience. To be defied so openly was an insult to his authority. He summoned the three men immediately. Standing before the enraged monarch, the air thick with tension, they were given one last chance. "Is it true?" the king demanded. "If you are ready to fall down and worship the image when you hear the music, very good. But if you do not worship, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" Think about that moment. The most powerful man on earth is threatening you with one of the most agonizing deaths imaginable. Your friends, your colleagues, everyone is watching. All you have to do is bend your knees for a few moments. Just go through the motions. Your life is on the line. What would you do? The response of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego is one of the most powerful declarations of faith in history. They looked the king in the eye and said, "O Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it, and he will deliver us from your majesty's hand." Just pause and absorb the weight of that. They weren't just being defiant, they were expressing absolute trust. They believed their God had the power to save them. But then, they took their faith a step further, and this is the part that truly gives me chills. They continued, "But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold you have set up. Even if he does not." That is the essence of true faith. It's not a transaction. It's not, "I'll obey you if you save me." It's, "I'll obey you because you are God, regardless of the outcome." Their loyalty was unconditional. They weren't just standing for their lives. They were standing for their God, ready to face the consequences, whatever they might be. This was too much for Nebuchadnezzar. His face contorted with rage. He ordered the furnace to be heated 7 times hotter than usual. So hot, in fact, that the flames killed the soldiers who were tasked with throwing the three men in. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, bound in their robes and tunics, were cast into the heart of the roaring inferno. From a human perspective, it was over, a certain swift and terrible end. But then, something incredible happened. The king leaped to his feet in amazement. He turned to his counselors and asked, "Weren't there 3 men that we tied up and threw into the fire?" They replied, "Certainly, your majesty." The king then exclaimed, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the fourth looks like a son of the gods. Inside that furnace, in what should have been their final moments, they were not alone. A fourth figure, a divine being, was with them, protecting them. The fire had no power over them. Their clothes weren't singed, their hair wasn't touched, and there wasn't even the smell of smoke on them. The only thing the fire burned away were the ropes that had bound them. Sometimes the very trials that are meant to destroy us are the things that God uses to set us free. Nebuchadnezzar, completely humbled and astounded, approached the opening of the furnace and called out, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here." When they walked out, every official in the kingdom gathered around, staring in disbelief. The miracle was undeniable. The king, who had moments before mockingly asked, "What God will be able to rescue you from my hand?" now had his answer. His pride shattered, Nebuchadnezzar made a new decree. He declared, "Praise be to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel and rescued his servants." They trusted in him and defied the king's command, and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. He then promoted the 3 men to even higher positions in the province of Babylon. This story isn't just an ancient account of a miracle, it's a timeless lesson about the power of conviction and the nature of true faith. It challenges us to ask ourselves, what are our golden statues? What are the things in our culture, our careers, or our social circles that demand our worship, that ask us to compromise our beliefs for the sake of acceptance or survival? Are we willing to stand, even if it means standing alone? Do we have the courage to say, "I will not bow," when the pressure is on? And most importantly, is our faith strong enough to trust God, not just to deliver us, but to be with us, even if He does not deliver us in the way we expect? The story of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego teaches us that true freedom is found not in avoiding the fire, but in walking through it with God. Thank you so much for joining me on this incredible journey today. If this story moved you or made you think, please hit that like button and share it with someone who might need to hear this message of courage. Don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss our next exploration into these powerful stories. Until next time, stand firm.